Good morning. I am Dr. Kate Campbell, board certified sports physical therapist for the Golf Performance Center, here with our performance coach, Ali Brochu. And we're taking you through a workout specific for the ladies. The men get plenty of attention, but the ladies have some other issues that we have to think about that maybe the guys don't really consider. So this workout is specific for you. One of the things we want to educate you about that's very different from men and women is our pelvic floor. So we're always going to try to incorporate that into our workout. Ladies, that just as we age, gravity does a number on our pelvic floor, and then especially if you have babies, whether you have a normal delivery or a C-section, there's a lot of extra forces that don't come back unless you work at it. We can add those into our daily lives and our workouts. So first, let's educate you on how to move your pelvis and how to contract the pelvic floor. So Ali's gonna come lie down on her yoga mat, and we're gonna start with a pelvic tilt. We think like hands on your hips, but this really isn't your hips. This is your pelvis. It's a big bone that incorporates the socket, and then the femur has the head of the head of femur is the ball. So ball and socket is on your pelvis, and it moves. So you can put your hands on your hips, and I want you to rock your hips back and forth, not left and right. Think about pulling your belly button in, flattening your spine against the floor. If my hand was here, I'm going to tell Ali to push my hand into the floor. Good, and then push away into a really big arch. Almost if you were standing up, it's like sticking your booty out. And just go back and forth 10 times, appreciating how far does it go. How far back does it go? How far forward does it go? Because our pelvis is shaped like a bowl, if we tilt it backwards, it's called a posterior pelvic tilt. And if we tilt it forward, it is an anterior pelvic tilt. And it's very important to find the middle, especially in our golf swing. So we have a stable lower half of which our thoracic spine can rotate around. Once you've found that excursion, anterior, posterior, start to shrink it a little bit. A little less, and I want you to find the middle. The middle happens when your spine is flat on the floor but not pushing into the floor. To hold that, you use the transverse abdominis muscles. They're very low, like right underneath your belt buckle. Poke around and feel. They should be a little tight. But above should be nice and loose. We're not contracting those big abs. This is not swimsuit training. This is the lower abs that help us with our core and stabilize our spine. So once you feel like that is under control, then you hold it. This is called neutral spine. Now that we've got the core going, we don't want to forget about the pelvic floor. Think about if you had to stop a stream of urine. You really have to go to the bathroom, you're running, and you have to make it. Think about that feeling. I'm doing it, but you have no idea I'm doing it. You can do this all day long, ladies. So to train the pelvic floor, we're gonna do an exercise. I want you to feel that hold. Hold it in 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's do 10. Again, 3, 2, 1, and release. 2, 3, 2, 1, and release. 3, 2, 1, and release. 3, 2, 1, and release. You might notice it's hard to release. Or you might notice when you're released, you already did. And then you have to contract again and hold it. And pull again, 3, 2, 1, that's 8. 3, 2, 1, that's 9. 3, 2, 1, that's 10. And then next, without a rest, I want you to go quick. Contract hard. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just when you think you're done, hold it for 10 seconds. Really hold it up. 10, 9, 8. Are you breathing? 7, 6. Keep it up there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent. We're going to use those Kegels throughout our day together. Now let's take this. We train it on the floor because there's nowhere to go. You're super stable. But golf is always standing, right? So come on up. And Ali, show me your golf posture from the side. Good. And let's take hands to the hips. And I want you to feel now your anterior pelvic tilt, your posterior pelvic tilt, your anterior, your posterior. Start to shrink the range until you find the middle. If I was looking at someone down the line on the tee line, I would notice the middle as being a very straight. None of that S curve, which is anterior, and none of that C curve, which is posterior. So let's go back to neutral. And this is tight, this is stable, and that means she's in a great position and muscular activation for her golf swing. We want to train here, and always remember that position when we're doing some of these drills. Excellent. Notice that, one more time, we're going to stack the joints. Notice that everything is in alignment, which helps us rotate. Her cervical spine is on top of the thoracic spine on top of the lumbar spine, lumbar on top of the pelvis, on top of the hips, knees, and ankles. This is a nice position of stability and mobility depending on which joint we need to move for us. Excellent. Anytime we work out, we want to get the body moving, we need some circulation, so we're going to take you through a dynamic warm-up. So why don't you start on one side. Why do we do a dynamic warm-up instead of a static warm-up first? It's a great question. The goal is really to increase circulation, bring some blood flow, good oxygen to our muscles to prepare us for movement. And there's studies that show, they've done it in track runners, and they've done it in golfers, that if you sit and stretch, that 30 seconds, 2 reps, all the way to the end range, you lengthen those muscles so much that they don't like to come back together, they don't contract well. So performance is actually worse immediately following a static stretch, and it's better after a dynamic stretch. So we always do this at the beginning, and static we leave for the end. The first one is a body weight squat. So take your golf club and put it way overhead, and drop your booty down. We want low as you can go. Feet are flat on the floor. If you can't keep them flat, you can elevate your heels a little bit. But notice that it's tempting to fall forward, it's tempting to fall back, and what's keeping you upright is that core. And let's add a Kegel at the bottom of the drill. Good, 10 reps to warm up here. Are you counting? Because I'm a notoriously bad counter. Excellent. The next is a single leg RDL reach. We want to stretch the hamstrings, but anytime we can get single leg balance, we're also getting some muscles that women have some weaknesses in. We're going to show you some exercises for that. So single leg balance, reach out as far as you can, drive that heel to the back, and look at this beautiful arabesque here. Come down, take a step, next foot. You can do this down the hallway, you could do this in place, but sometimes it's nice to feel like you got somewhere. So we do it walking here at GPC. One of the temptations is to flip that hip up, try to keep it nice and level. Good, and come back. Where are you feeling that, Allie?
Glutes, hamstrings.
Yes, I think the lower you go, the more you're stretching that hamstring, and that's the goal of this one. Let's do 2 more there. Really stretch it out. Excellent. Golf doesn't just use one joint at a time, one muscle at a time. It's full body movement, and we train the same way. So we're going to do a knee hug to Spiderman. First, to get the glutes stretched, big step out, huge lunge. Now that we're here, we're going to rotate over the up leg. Feel that thoracic rotation, pop on up. At the up phase, you're feeling the butt. Down here, you're feeling the hip flexor. And then add the rotation. Our thoracic spine, we want 10, so we'll keep going. I could talk forever. The thoracic spine needs to rotate in our golf swing. This is a good opportunity. But the spine has little projections attached to ribs. The ribs are not supposed to move. They're protecting our lungs. But notice that when you go down into your thoracic rotation, get there, get there, get there. Let's see how far Allie goes. Now exhale. It goes a little further because you allow the ribs to contract a little bit, allowing the thoracic spine to move. Excellent. We did something lower body. Let's do something upper body. Band pull aparts. Get that golf posture. Add your Kegel. Here we go. And pull up band apart. The muscles activating here are rhomboids, mid-traps. Let's activate everything in the back here. And I love that the purpose of core is to hold everything still so that your arms can move, so that your legs can move. Imagine a runner pushing off of the blocks. It's hard, they're firm. What if those blocks were Jell-O? They have nothing to push off of. Now Allie's gonna go into some sweeps, up overhead. Notice how tempting it is to go to that anterior tilt. Keep that neutral. So what we're trying to do is stabilize the pelvis and the core with the correct muscles so that your arms can move, so that your body can swing, so that you could twist in the legs. Nice job. After 10 there. Nicely done. Quad stretch. So we're gonna go backwards this time. Grab a leg, stand up tall, stick those hips through, a big stretch in the front of the thigh, drive that leg back, a huge lunge, and we're reaching again over the up leg. This is different than the thoracic rotation. From pinky to toe should be as far apart as possible, and you're gonna feel it all through the back of the arm, the lats, down the back, and our IT band. So we'll start talking about women's pelvises. We were not born to be golfers. We were born to have babies. It's just not fair. So God gave us these big hips so that we can have babies in them. But the angle changes everything. It changes how our muscles contract. It changes our alignment. So these muscles here are called the gluteus medius, the glute medius. Different than the glute max. Together we call them the glutes, but really these are right here on the side. And they tend to be weak. They are strengthened in standing on one leg, and they tend to be tight. And there's a big band that goes across, the IT band. This stretch also adds a little IT band into it. Fantastic. Let's do some pogos. The purpose of this is ankle stability and just a little plyometric movement, but I gotta tell you, ladies of a certain age, this is like killer. Do this anyway. Do whatever it takes to get it. Allie's gonna show you some single leg. Draw a line on the floor 20 times back and forth on your toes. I see a lot of ankle sprains out there on the course. The grass is uneven, there's holes that you can't see. This will help stabilize the ankle so you can prevent some ankle sprains. But I gotta tell you, the jumping might make you a little nervous. Do the best you can. Add that Kegel and hold it. Those who don't even know about Kegels, they get better as long as they exercise. Exercise in general helps us strengthen our pelvic floor, but if we can bring attention to it, it gets even better. Fantastic. Shoulder walks. Let's go back to some upper body mobility. Beautiful posture, nice tight tuck, and really rotating the shoulder. Sometimes it gets lazy by coming in front of you. You should not see your hands. They should be out there. And freeze. We're gonna do one round where we're focusing on here, and the palm is in. After a lap of those, we're gonna do it again with the palms out. Here we go. This time, let's focus on the down. Focus on that internal rotation, which we need both. Last one, we gotta get you moving. Golf's a power sport. We need to develop power, so we're gonna do some karaoke. The other thing I love about this is there's separation between your upper body and your lower body. So watch Allie's hips. Her belly button is never still. It is moving left, it's moving right, it's moving left, it's moving right. But her head and shoulders are facing the wall the whole time. This is nice to do if you have a long hallway. And then let's make a quick direction change. Now, yeah, go, 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 go. Quick change, go. Excellent. You should be warm, heart rate should be up, so we're going to activate our core. We like to do a core activation set before we get into our strength and power, just so that our body is primed and activated, ready to use our core when it's really important and we're not focusing on it. So the first one is a hurdle step. If possible, find a mirror. And the reason is we're all moving wrong, but we don't know it. You have to see yourself to learn. So we'll do a couple facing the mirror. So Allie's gonna look at the mirror, arms overhead. I want you to pretend there is a little hurdle, a little fence just below your knee. Drive one leg up the other, over, tap the heel, and come back. The mirror is teaching you, are you leaning? Did you fall forward? Are you going sideways? Is your knee caving in? Are your hips level? So from the back here, can you hold it and go up? Right here we want level. Show me a hip drop. Not this. When this happens, the knee wants to cave in and we get into some major issues and tightnesses. Let's do turn around for the second set. Let's do the other leg 10 times. Up, over, tap the heel, up and back. Yes, we're moving our legs. Yes, our arms are overhead, but this is a core activation exercise for sure. And because we're on one leg, we're really working those glute meads. Excellent. Same thing, core, stay stable while the legs are moving. Let's move those hips. Can we do a hip car? I'm giving you a yoga mat because I'm so nice.
Thank you.
Okay, all fours. Here's another position to practice your pelvic tilts. Give me an anterior and posterior. Get it moving until you can find your neutral. A hip car, you think like, where am I driving? Stands for a controlled articular rotation, meaning we're going to rotate the ball and socket on every surface of that socket. So we're going to take the hip, and we'll do this one because it's closer to the camera, and in that knee 90 degrees, drive the heel to the ceiling. Go, 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 freeze. Here's the temptation. You want to go too high. Keep that pelvic neutral. You want to rotate. Let's keep it level. Next, rotate your knee out, and then in this plane, parallel to the floor, bring that knee all the way to the armpit. Go, 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 do the best you can, and then it comes down under you and back to the start. Let's do 5 on each leg. Go ahead, heel up, watch that arch, watch that rotation. Good. Again, hip mobility, super important in golf. We really care about hip internal rotation. If the hip doesn't want to internally rotate, we got to find the rotation somewhere else, and it's too much in the thoracic spine, too much at the lumbar spine. You stand up out of the swing, and then we know what happens to the ball after that, right? I duff it all the time when I early extend. Let's do the other side. 5 times, heel to the ceiling. Allie's doing a great job of not going into her anterior tilt, but I can tell that rotation really tends to tilt her pelvis. You do the best you can. Maybe you let yourself lose it a little bit and just appreciate how far it wants to go, and then appreciate how much your core is working to keep it under control. Awesome. Okay, time to get those glutes working. Here's a band around your ankles. We're going to do some mini band walks. For this drill, I want you back in golf posture. Find that neutral, poke it. Let's make sure it's a little tight and it's not kind of squishy in there, right? And staying in your golf posture, big lateral steps. It's really tempting to let the knees dive in. Don't. Your kneecaps should be over your second toe. They should not dip past the big toe for sure. And there's tons of variations here. You could do them fast, you could do them in place, you could do single leg. I like moving with them. And it's core too, right? Oh yeah. How about a Kegel in there too? Let's hold that pelvic floor up. Let's go 20 times each way. If you're in a tight space at home, you can just tap and tap or tap together. But if you can walk, I really like the idea of exhausting one leg. And you'll notice it's not just the leg that's moving that gets the workout, it's the leg that's stabilizing too. And that's the purpose of the glute med. Not to take the hip away, but to control the pelvis when we're attached to the ground. All right, you tell me. When Allie burns, then you guys can stop. Are you burning yet?
I'm burning.
Okay, excellent. Back to some core. So you notice we're kind of separating things up. We're going to do a bird dog. This one is definitely more for core. Again, the purpose of core is to have a stable spine and pelvis while the arms and legs are moving. Finding our pelvic neutral, contracting the transverse abdominis. We're nice and tight. Lift one arm and the opposite leg at the same time. Hold 3, 2, 1. Come back and let's switch. 3, 2, 1. Let's see, what are the tempting compensations here? Really tempting to want to rotate, really tempting to want to go into that anterior tilt. Make this a core exercise. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. I love alternating this because you get really good feedback about how much you had to shift to go from the left to the right. If you do it all on one side, it's like you shift and then you just keep lifting. You're not getting any feedback. So if you feel that you're shifting your weight a lot, you're probably cheating. Nice job. You can always do it up against a wall and make sure you don't hit the wall. 10 on each side. Are you counting?
One more.
Again. Don't ever trust physical therapists to count. We'll just start over at 0. Make you do more. Awesome. Oh, she's sweating. I love it. Let's keep going with those glutes. Let's do a hip bridge. We're going to show you the easy version, which when you do it correctly is not so easy. So I love to say, just lift those hips. Do what your body wants to do. And where, before you knew what you were doing, where would you feel it?
Low back.
Low back, that's one option. I would feel it in my quads. I'd be pushing, let's keep going. I would be pushing into the floor. Some people, as soon as they go up, they get this hamstring cramp. That's probably pulling from a weak hamstrings. This is a glute exercise. So from here, I want you to squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your cheeks together like there's a credit card and you don't want it to go away. Now keep squeezing and let that be the action that rises you. Excellent job. Did it take the pressure off the low back? Fantastic. And it should release the quads and the hamstrings and come back down. Now find that pelvic tilt and rise up. And let's just activate everything in there. Let's add a Kegel to it too. Oh yes, and back down. We're gonna do 10. Again, the purpose of this part of the warm-up workout is to warm up our core. So it's not a lot of reps. They're just good quality reps. But if you feel like this is easy, I'm getting my glutes, let's change it to single leg. So bring one leg up, keep it at 90 degrees. Think about that butt squeeze and drive from the butt. Excellent. We'll do 5 more here and 5 more on the other side. Another variation would be to cross your arms. Go ahead. Then maybe you notice, oh, I'm shaking a little bit. It's because you had the stability. Now you have to use some of those obliques to help you stabilize laterally. Awesome. The glutes are the powerhouse of the golf swing. When you shift your weight right to left, when you stay down in your golf posture, when you push through that ball, that is a huge glute activation. And if you don't use them, you're getting it from somewhere else. You're losing yards off your ball. And women tend to not use their glutes. We tend to like our quads better. So this is a good way to activate it. Let's flip over other side for some planks. Simple, classic, I just can't do better. It activates the transverse abdominis and the rectus. This one's good for the bathing suit shape. Up on toes and elbows. Let's focus on a nice parallel arm alignment. And show me bad anterior tilt. There's a slouch, that's tempting. And the other way, that's tempting to go to posterior. Find neutral. Find where you could be super flat. You could balance that club head to butt and not let it roll and keeping contact there. Nicely done. We're just gonna make Allie hold this for a little bit. I'm not counting. I would say if you're new to planks, 30 seconds is a great goal. A minute would be really good exercise. And if you're in the 2-minute category, you're an athlete now. Let's just leave her there. Okay, we are finished with our core activation set and we are ready to go into our strength. Okay, we got you warm. We got your core activated. Now we're gonna get into some strength, and we're gonna couple the set with some corrective exercises that are a little low-key, focusing on our mobility. First, I'm gonna give you a moment to get all the tools you need so that we can go, go, go. Could you please have your yoga mat available? We need somewhere to step. It can be a stair, or if you have a box, 12 inches would be nice. A dumbbell or kettlebell. Allie's strong, so she's doing 15 pounds, but 5 or 10 is plenty. If by chance you're in a gym here at GPC, you have a pull-up bar. If not, a band or tubing. We're gonna use that twice. If you have a Swiss ball at home, that's nice, but we have a modification if you don't. And we can use your dumbbell or a kettlebell for some squats, of course. So once you gather all of that, let's get to the floor and start our thoracic rotations. Again, we've worked so hard at stabilizing our pelvis so that our thoracic spine and shoulders can rotate in our backswing. Now we want to work on that mobility because we already did our stability. So in a side lying position, top leg to the floor if you can, or on a yoga block if you are stuck, or just a rolled up towel at home. Palms are together like an alligator. And then open that top arm, follow it with your head, get all the way to the end, and your goal is to get that arm to the floor. Pressure on, hold. Remember to exhale, let the air out, let our ribs go a little so the thoracic can rotate, and come on back. Let's do 5 of these, but they're slow, they're purposeful, and every moment you're going further, further, further into the motion. And come on back, that's 2. Here we go again. Rotating, exhale, get that shoulder to the floor, and force that top leg down to the floor. Think of this body separation. Do you feel like a towel that's being wrung out? One side's going one way, one side's going the other. Wring it out. 4, we got 1 more there. And on that last one, exhale, deeper, deeper, deeper. And let's try a little activation. Now pull to the floor, pull, 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 pull. Exhale and let it relax even deeper. Nicely done. Come on back, let's flip you over. Top leg 90-90, side lying, and open that hand. Follow your hand. Let's get the cervical spine and the neck to rotate with it. Oh, Allie's definitely got one way that's better than the other. Super common because golf is an asymmetrical sport. In fact, lots of them are. Tennis, it's more forehand than backhand. And baseball, softball, everything's got a preferred side, and in golf we do a lot in our backswing, and we just kind of follow through. The thing about this mobility helps us get further, but still having that tension and the core tightness helps us transfer the energy from the top of that backswing and to follow through, creating energy. Nice job. That's 5. Great. We're going to go into a goblet squat. If you have a kettlebell, that's great. If not, you can use your dumbbell here. Feet are a little wider than your hips, and it's okay to have those toes flared out just a little bit. The first thing that happens is a hip hinge. So from the side, put that booty out. Nice pelvic neutral like we worked on, and here we go. Let's dip down to 90 degrees and come back up. We have 10, that's 1. 2, awesome. Allie's getting nice and low. By adding the bell in front of you, we're not just resisting the movement, we're actually creating a little bit more of a challenge for the core. Later in life, women also have to worry about osteoporosis, especially athletes, skinny. You haven't been carrying a lot of weight on your whole life. Our bones aren't used to force. It's going to go downhill. And to prevent that, I wish we could go back in time when we were all 16 and jump rope and do really active sports. But later we have to load our skeleton. And this is a good way, not just to get the muscles pulling on the bone for better bone density, but to load and put some resistance on. Let's switch to an upper body. We're gonna do some push-ups. Classic, so good, and we're gonna think about the core. So let's show you a good perfect one first. We're going to do 10, but we'll show you some modifications so you can jump in a high plank, and just do a couple pelvic tilts, find your neutral, really feel like you're pulling that belly button in. Let's add a Kegel here, and try to dip down, chest to the floor, and push back up. Oh, it's tempting to stick that butt out and arch, right? Keep it all the way through the push-up. That's 2. That's 3. If this is too hard or you can't keep good control, remember, quality over quantity. Put your knees down. But notice you still have a straight line from shoulder, hip, and knee. Go ahead and down. You can still get plenty of challenge here for the core and still working those arms. If this is even too much, you can go a little higher to a countertop. Allie's gonna come to the bench and try it here. So just because we're not perfectly horizontal to gravity, it's a little bit easier. And even easier, because I just want you moving. I don't want you to think this is too hard, I'm skipping it. You can do it at a wall. Super tempting to let those hips go, and you're just gonna focus on good control. Let's just do 2 more, because I'm sure that's 10, and we gotta get back to our legs. My goal is to keep you moving. When we're doing all these muscle groups alternating, your body's moving, you're burning calories, your energy's high, but each muscle group gets a chance to break. So we're gonna go to our step up, and we're gonna turn this into a golf exercise. So grab your dumbbell, one leg on the box, the same leg up is the same arm up. And step all the way up, immediately bring that leg to the ceiling while punching the ceiling with the weight. Beautiful, and come back down. Let's add a little rotation. Anytime we're rotating, it becomes golf specific, right? 3, let's go for 10. 4. If you're losing your balance, I bet you're falling towards the up leg, and that might be because you're not lifting the pelvis up, it's letting it drop. We talked about that glute med, activate in the hip, make yourself feel it here. 10 on the right, and we go 10 on the left. Allie's doing a great job of balancing and rotating. Do you feel those obliques connecting one side of the ribs to the opposite pelvis? Oh yeah, love when we're getting 2 for 1 special. We're always trying to multitask, right? We're busy. We gotta get everything in. So we have arms, core, hips, and legs. Oh, and cardio, right? You're breathing? Awesome. After 10 of those, we're gonna go back to some arms. Opposite arm muscles. We're gonna do pull-ups. Classic, good, we need it. But I think there's not a lot of ladies out there that can do some full pull-ups. So Allie will show us what she's got. The goal is from a dead hang. Oh yeah, awesome. Nice, our goal is 10. 10 is hard, so then we're gonna switch and go to a modified. Just because we're not pulling our bodies up, we can pull a band down. So going down to a long sit position, feet are straight ahead, beautiful posture with that tilt, and pull it down as if you were holding the bar, pulling it to your chest. Gorgeous. I love how she's activating down in here. She's not tempted to lean back or lean forward or slouch through, always getting that core involved. Let's see, we did 3 up at the bar. So this is like 7, 8, 9, and 10. Fantastic. A little bit of a core exercise next. On your Swiss ball, but it's okay if you don't have a Swiss ball, you can do golf posture. So have a seat, Allie, facing a little on a diagonal. Turn a little right. Here's our angle. Awesome. Lock your big loop around You could tie a knot and stick it in a door. You could put it around a banister, around a column, holding here. 2 hands. Pull it in close to you first. Let's find that awesome posture and think like super high and super low. So it's not just that pelvic tilt. When you're tilting your pelvis on the ball, you notice how it rolls? You can roll it under. So it's not just this up and down, it's happening from down here. Yeah, when you stick that booty out and go into anterior tilt, the ball goes out. Let's find neutral. Or if we don't have a ball, let's just go to your golf posture. Awesome. Bring the band away. Do you notice it wants to pull you? That's okay, let it pull you. Good. Now, quickly, 1 second, rotate it all the way left, hold. And then we're gonna come back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome, rotate, go. 1, hold it. Here we go, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's 2. Rotate, good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's 3. Notice that Allie is rotating, not swaying, not shifting, not bending. It's like I stuck a pole straight down, head to tush, all the way to the floor, and she's just rotating around that pole. This is exactly what we're looking for. By having the band away, we're really contracting all the abs, not just transverse abdominis, but our rectus, and then we're getting obliques. And guess what? We're rotating. We need it. What I love about bands, you can make this hard or easy. Just stretch it out more. Harder resistance. As you get tired, you can come in. Again, quality over quantity. After 10, we will turn it around. Woo! That's a good one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe next round we'll do golf posture just to show. All right, set it up. Keep it in close while you're finding your posture. Beautiful. Press it away, let the band win. And here we go, concentric, 1 second, go. Boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go again. 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Concentric just means the positive. We are contracting the muscle by bringing it together. The fibers are shortening. Eccentric, you're still working, even if the muscles go in the opposite direction. So for example, you got the count, right? You lift a box up. It's heavy. Let's say it's so heavy that you can't lift it, but someone said, here you go, I'm gonna give you a 100-pound box. You go, oh, I can control it slowly. You're fighting gravity still, except it's working in the opposite direction. We know that by training the eccentric, we make muscles stronger faster. We also make them a little bit more sore because we're literally like ripping out those muscle fibers. So you pay for it, but you also get stronger. We need to control our bodies, control our follow through. Think of a pitcher as they throw. What keeps their arm from leaving their socket? It's the eccentric control of the rotator cuff. So in this exercise, we're training both. Excellent. That was 1 set. Yay! Corrective time. Back to the mat. We did a dynamic hamstring stretch with our single leg RDL. Now it's time to do it a little bit more passively, focus on the range. So active straight leg raise or leg lowering. Leg lowering. Both legs are up. Fight to keep one up and let's let the other one go. If you can split those legs, you will feel it right in here. But let's not sacrifice our pelvic position. So hold that back flat, make it a core exercise. We're gonna go for 10. And every time you're saying, can I go further? Can I go further? Push it down, push it down. Okay, that's it. Here we go. 3, 4, 5. And we're getting some core work here. Holding those legs in the air. Nicely done. This is, even if you're pretty flexible, this is a nice stretch. This is tough. Focus on that quality. 10 on each side. Nice job. Here we go. Other leg. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Come on, fight to keep that knee straight. 5. Fight to keep the bottom knee straight. 6. Oh, it's shaking. 7. Is that back flat against the floor? 8. It looks good. 9. 1 more. Awesome. Top of the bill, here we go. Back to our goblet squat. Let's show you the modification. Let's do from the side. If you notice in the squat, you can't get low enough, your heels are coming up, you're falling forward or back, just elevate the heels by sticking a book, a couple books under. It doesn't need much, but look at how much easier Allie goes down now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We want our athletes to move through the whole range of motion. Where was this where we had to like stop at 90? It's bad for the knees. No, we want strong knees, and they don't stop getting strong at the depth of the motion. So do what you can, staying away from pain. Well, this is a good work here. Push-ups. 10 beautiful push-ups, focusing on our quality. Even though it's arms, it's all about the core. Here we go. All the way down. 1, 2. Allie's fast. 3. She's really making you guys work. 4, 5. Tight tummy, don't lose it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. I'm sure you're happy to get a little arm break, but we're still moving. Back to our step-ups with rotation. Can you do a front view this time? Here we go. One arm up, one arm down. Let's go. Up and rotate away. Nice job. Hold that post. Convince yourself that I have this, I am balanced, I'm not just hitting it and falling out of it. Activating right here. Right there is what's keeping that pelvis up. Anytime we're on one leg, we're also doing some ankle stability and lots of core with this rotation. Oh, and how's your shoulder doing too? It's burning. That's awesome. 15 pounds is tough. 10 there, other side. 1, 2. Keep that arm right by your ear. 3, 4. Come on, bring those shoulders to the wall. Rotate. 5. Nice. 6. Obviously, the higher the step, the harder it is. You don't need a step. You can do it on the floor, but it is a little bit more of a challenge to have a leveled change. Yay, that's 10. Nice job. Arms, we're up to pull-ups. I don't know, after all that, how many can you do? Are you gonna try?
I'll try.
Let's go. From a dead hang, 1, 2, 3. That first inch is like the hardest thing to get it all activated because the muscles are super stretched out. You don't have a lot of fibers that are grabbing on. All right, if you got a couple in and you need to change, go ahead. This is a good opportunity. You don't have to count. We picked 10 because in order to make muscles stronger, which is our goal of this video, you need between 8 and 12 reps. That doesn't mean you get to stop at 8. It means you have to be tired at 8. You have to want to quit at 9 or 13. And honestly, if you could do 15 or 20, it's too easy. Make that band tighter, grab a heavier weight, elevate the step, but you're still working. It's great. But if you really want to make muscle fibers stronger, you need 2 to 3 sets, and it needs to be tired between 8 and 12, and the average is 10. So we picked 10 for this video. You could just keep going while I'm talking. We're up to core. Let's do a golf posture one. It's a little low, but you can do it. So golf posture, keeping it in tight. Let's find that pelvic neutral. Press it away. Let the band win. I like starting here because it's convincing you that you're starting in neutral. Quick concentric. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's 2. Boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Rotate. I love how Allie's shoulders are rotating. The arms aren't working. That's just our lever. We just need something to hold the band. The further away it is, the harder our core has to activate. And notice, even though she's getting great rotation here, everything from my hands below are super stable. If this is a little aggressive, you can't get it all the way out, you can make the band lighter and closer, but you could also just work on holding that band. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Awesome. Turn it away. And that's a really good core contraction. Even if you're neutral and the arms are straight, you're still working obliques on the sides because you're resisting rotation, even though you aren't actually rotating. Nice job. That's 2. Here we go. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Power out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Power out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Power out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10. And Allie's doing 11 for extra measure. Awesome. Our last corrective. You're warm, time to stretch it out. One of our favorites for golfers is that hip internal and external rotations. We're gonna do a hip 90-90 stretch. You get a chance to lower the heart rate a little bit. The static stretching is also best after your workout because you have a lot of warmth going on, the tissues being warm. Stretch. So each leg is at 90 degrees. One feels behind you and one is in front of you. And first, let's just work on, can you get into really good posture? Just try to make good contact here. Is that front knee down? Is the back knee and the foot down? Are each sides of your butt cheeks down? You can kind of feel your butt bones. Are they even? Awesome. Without using your hands, try to rotate to the other side. Bringing those hands in front helps with the stability. And then we'll show you a modification. Awesome. And then when you get here, that beautiful posture, drive that hip down, drive that hip down. The one that's in back of you is internally rotated, and the one that's in front of you is external. If you need to put your hands behind you for support, you absolutely can. Again, the goal right now at this point of the workout, let's go back the other way, is for mobility, for stretching, flexibility. You can always add a weight here and turn it into a core exercise too. Allie's doing a really good job of keeping her heels grounded on the floor. We're gonna go 5 each way. This is number 3 to the left. Beautiful posture, drive that hip down, drive that butt down. Exhale, release, go the other way. Sitting up nice and tall. That's 4. And here's our last one for 5. Awesome job, Allie and everybody at home. That was a great workout. I hope you enjoyed it.